peeps, and welcome to Barely Reviewable, a podcast where two brothers review films, shows, games, and you name it. I'm here with my co-host and my brother, Addison Ellis. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing well, brother. Doing well.
Good. Well, I'm glad we're starting to get the intros kind of a bit more relaxed now. We're sounding a bit more in tune with this whole process. It's only our fourth episode too, which is pretty.
We're getting there. We're getting into a groove.
I'm surprised we've gone so. This is our farthest one we've done so far. So this is our. I'll stop talking. Anyway, so
it's okay. Hey, you can be proud. Between the two of us, this was your idea. You're putting a lot of the work in here, man. I'm just talking. You got
for sure. Well,
put it all together.
Mine and Mom's idea. She really pushed this for us to try out as an idea.
Oh, she did.
Oh yeah, she would always suggest that to us.
Oh, because I just told her I had to go. Okay, I'm gonna go record with you, and she's like, okay, I'll go watch the dog while you go record your podcast. I think she's joking, guys. She's joking, but still,
I know.
This is cute.
Exactly.
That was fun.
Oh yeah. But what was it? So for this episode, we wanted to change it up a bit. Even in the next episode too, move away from the movie reviews for a little bit, and just go over a fun topic. Maybe just mix it up. So for today's topic, we're going to be going over 5 of our favorite kind of underrated film gems that a lot of people don't really seem to recognize too well or watch too much. So, all right, how about you start off, brother? What's your number 5
Well, can I start with a couple runners up before we get to number 5?
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Go for it.
I'll get to my first runner up, and then I'll give at least 2 runners up because I think we deserve at least getting a little bit of a boost by us talking about it. Yes. No, Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And that's a film I've only seen once, but I keep thinking about it. Again, it's a Lupason picture. It's the guy who did Fifth Element. It very much feels in that vein. It's a
very
little
French.
Because it's from a French comic too, isn't it?
Yes.
I think so. Yes. It's a French director who's already weird doing a French comic, sci-fi comic. And the thing that sticks out to me, because again I haven't seen it in a while, but I just remember being really inspired by the set pieces and some of the conceptual the ideas, and being able to see that on the screen, like, wow, that's pretty awesome. It's a crazy sci-fi adventure. Again, it's kind of generic action movie-ish. I think that's why the main story doesn't stay in my mind too much, but there's a lot of crazy weird shit in it, and that's kind of the bit that I love. There's a trans-dimensional shootout where a guy's just got like a gun transported to this other dimension, and he's using like a transported arm in this whole other place, while again he's trying to dodge people trying to kill him or hurt his arm. So and that's early on in the film. Again, it just kind of goes from there, and even conceptually, the idea of this big old the name's a little deceiving. It's essentially like a planet-sized structure that's technically like a number of like little cities and stuff constructed by like numerous alien races, and we actually get to see that in the very opening of the film. That's
one of the better sequences.
Yeah, and it just kind of it warms the cockles of my heart. It speaks to my Star Trekism kind of thing. Internet, like at a futuristic international space station where all these alien races just start linking up and they're connecting onto this one station, and again, the whole point is just creating like this mega colony of just mixed peoples and cultures, and idea that's wonderful, that's fun. And again, we get to see that same station tens of thousands of years later, after it's become literally like planetary scale, and there's just a lot of strange shit. I just that's really interesting and inspiring. I mean, this is a film like they're trying to track down this long thought extinct alien race. There's a lot of weird political shit going on, but then they have weird moments where they go after. There's literally like an ocean on the planet. They go to the bottom of the ocean. They find these whales with psychic mind jellyfish attached to them. And they have to receive the jellyfish, pull it off of this whale creature, and then have to put the jellyfish on them in order to gain some psychic abilities.
Crap, I completely forgot about that until you reminded me about that just now.
That is just like, okay. It's kind of insane at moments like that. But it's just it's interesting. It feels a little long, I'll say that. And again, it's my lowest pick because I have only seen it once and I don't remember the plot very well.
And Dane DeHaan's the main titular, the Valerian, and he's kind of like a block of wood. To be fair,
yeah, that's true.
He's the new age young Keanu Reeves, essentially, which is unfortunate. But
it's like I'll just say that it's definitely there's a lot of caveats. I want to watch it again. I think I'm gonna watch it this weekend again. But there's a lot of caveats. I'll just say though, there's like a sense that on some level someone's bursting with creativity, if it's that maybe just strictly coming from the comic ideas from the comics and stuff, and the designs, but again just being completely transported to this weird clash of cultures and just being lost and like, okay, how do these people navigate like everyday life, and you're kind of seeing little bits and pieces and how everybody interacts and all these different peoples got their own system going on, and there's like weird peoples have essentially like ended up devolving into like like a tribal system of like meat eaters and stuff. And again, weird styles. Again, the director has this very particular stylistic approach.
He's French, so it's all French.
Lots of bright colors, lots of minimalist looking dress and drag. Garb. I'm thinking of garb, but I'm saying garb. Okay.
Drag.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not as campy as Fifth Element. Kind of wish it was. It's got a little bit of that, but
it's a bit more serious. It's taking it way more serious.
It's just you can tell there's probably some studio concessions in terms of certain tonal things.
So the film was privately financed. Okay, it was a studio film.
I don't know anything. It was just a bad decision.
There probably was some. I wouldn't. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good pick. No, I think it's a really good pick. Of course,
I say that it could just be in the nature of the comic too. That's like maybe the hero wasn't as interesting. I should have done more research on this, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry. I never even asked you what your thoughts on it were. I'm talking like a crazy person.
There's I think originally I liked. I felt that there could have been more to showing the different worlds, because I think all the worlds they list off in the very beginning of the film show up, and there's only like 4 or 5 at the very maximum, and then you don't really get this massive scope that there's like 1,000 worlds to the thing. And I was kind of like this one, like, you could have had a little more fun jumping into different areas of the facility or something like that. But they just show what was originally said as examples. I was like, I don't know. That was kind of a little disappointed. It's fine. I think there is a lot of creativity and a lot of, especially again, as you said, that beginning bit with the dimensional hopping. That is a really fun sequence and probably the most inspired it's very simple, but it's an entirely creative and unique little fight scene.
It's a transdimensional marketplace. Yeah.
That's a fun little concept. That's like a Rick and Morty concept or something. Essentially. But no, if anything though, Carl Delevingne did a better job in that than she did in Suicide Squad, which is not saying much. But from what I remember, it was a decently made film. The story was okay, but the visuals were probably the best part, and there's some fun stuff too. Oh, I forgot Rihanna was in it too.
Yeah, she plays a shapeshifter. Admittedly, at that point, I had to use a restroom, so I didn't see that scene. I'm starting to realize I probably shouldn't have put this on my list.
It's fine. This is a great start to the list. I guess we'll go to my.
The other ones I'll say I'm way more passionate about, and I know more. I've seen multiple times, but I wanted to mention it because I remember seeing this in our collection. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. People like, because again, just the designs and stuff, as far as art direction and stuff like that, I thought that was pretty wonderful. And again, a lot of weird, strange decisions and plot diversion. So anyway, continue.
Okay. Well, let me see. I guess kind of the follow-up. One of my runner-ups, I have a few, but we can only, I guess we'll just talk about one runner-up for this. But let's say Dark City. It's directed by Alex Proyas of The Crow fame and Gods of Egypt in his later years. That amazing film.
I'm sure he appreciates that one being referenced to.
He
liked it.
Well, it was his passion project. That was his passion project. Yeah. But anyway, no, Dark City was made around the time of the first Matrix film. It features a pretty talented cast. Kiefer Sutherland. Is it Rufus Sewell? Is that right?
You got it, I think.
Rufus Sewell, Jennifer Connelly, and then the late William Hurt. Now, it's just a really creative a sci-fi noir film. I don't want to spoil it to those who are interested in it, but it's more or less based in a city where it's always darkness, and it's the city itself is aesthetically like Metropolis, the 10 silent film Metropolis. So it has that sort of aesthetic with like a 50s aesthetic, and the art direction is really one of the strongest elements of the film. There's a lot of fun creativity to it, and it's a fun little character study regarding, what makes us human, and especially for me, the ending too is also kind of a mind opener too of how it ends. Like, well, shit, you can't really. How do you go from there? What do you do? I guess you just live out your life then. But again, I don't want to go too far into it. But it's a fun, dark noir sci-fi film that I think, if you're into that type of stuff, I think you'd enjoy it. What did you think of the film?
I like it well enough. I feel like I think it feels a little bit longer than maybe needed to be because I think I've seen it a couple times now. It's never fully it's not Blade Runner level where it loses me pretty frequently, but it's definitely something that I kind of struggle sometimes to hold my attention. But there are a lot of like we've been saying, there's a lot of memorable sequences, art direction, conceptually it's a lot of fun. But again, it's a good little sci-fi film. Again, I never considered it like one of my favorites. It's just there's that's why I put it so down low too. Like, I think it's not one of those films I would go to rewatch all the times, but I occasionally remind myself, like, oh yeah, I remember that film. Maybe we should watch that some on and off, and be like once every few years or so. It's definitely earned some of the cult recognition it's gotten.
For the most part, it's a decently made film, and if you were to watch this, watch the director's cut. Don't watch the theatrical cut. It's stupid. They ruined the entire twist of the film in the beginning credits because it was a studio mandated thing. So they literally had the twist narrated out to the audience at the very beginning. Don't watch that. Watch the director's cut. It's much better.
Okay. Before we continue, can we at least agree on a mutual runner-up that Nacho Libre deserves a bit more love and recognition?
Yes.
Can I say that? That's that one I was debating for a while, but I'm like, nah, it's okay. I think it's got a little bit of recognition, but that movie is so wonderful. And I say this right now, our grandfather, who is Mexican American, forces us to watch this film every Thanksgiving. unless there's a major veto for some reason. But really, we will watch it every Thanksgiving. It's become a family tradition now. It is wonderful and weird and goofy as all get out.
Well, the director, essentially, he's kind of like a rougher Wes Anderson with his design. Like, he has, like, these really stylized and really heightened colors and kind of stilted acting a lot of times, stilted type of characters in his films. And so he's kind of like this rougher Wes Anderson, I would say. And you kind of get a little bit of that if his films like Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. Oh, is it Jared Heiss, or something like that? Jared something. That's the director. But
it was written by Mike White.
Yeah, I think, or co-written, and then he produced it for sure.
Yeah, he was the actor and writer of School of Rock.
Or the White Lotus. It's an HBO miniseries that came out about a year or so ago. He wrote and directed some of those.
Okay.
It's very okay. It's okay. All right. There's some fun stuff in the beginning, but Nacho Libre. It is very creative. Yes, there's a lot of stupid fart jokes. Those are kind of but there are some little subtle jokes, and there's a lot of great cameos, and it's got a lot of character. And again, it's not for everybody. If you don't like Jack Black, you definitely would not want to watch this film. You'd probably punch a hole through the screen.
If you don't like Napoleon Dynamite or had found anything Napoleon Dynamite funny, you're not going to find it funny here. I'll just say it's a very, again, it's cute. It's a very sweet, goofy film, and there's a lot of great like performance. Again, decisions like little facial actions, or the way how he, like, again, especially Jack Black, how he physically delivers in certain scenes. Like, that's so good. That's fun.
He's giving his all. He's giving like 1,000% in this.
He's trying hard.
He goes from Mexican to Italian to French with his accent. It's amazing.
It's a lie, Stephen. A lie. Halloween. I can't express. This is how this film has become, like, again, a part of our family, like, lexicon of inner memes, kind of inner joke memes and stuff. At the very least, I think it's memorable. I think people would find it memorable.
Both good and bad memorable.
Yeah. I'll tell you this much. I doubt you'll feel indifferent about it. You'll either love it or hate it. I think
that's the best type of art. That's the best. You don't want any middle ground.
You'll feel something. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to put that out there. More love to Nacho Libre. It's a wonderful film.
Oh man, I could watch that now.
No.
I showed my girlfriend that. She was like, okay, we're turning that off. We're fine.
Yeah, and now she has to watch it every Thanksgiving. She comes over.
Yeah, that or she just go to her mom's. Oh man!
All right. Official list time. All right.
Okay, what's your number 5?
All right, I'm gonna get the serious one out of the way. My number 5 pick is The Fool by Yuri Bykov. Yuri Bykov. U-R-I-V. Y-U-R-I-V. No, can I read? Holy
Yuri
shit.
Bykov. Yuri Bykov.
I couldn't even spell it right. Y-U-R-I-Y. I said U-U-R-I-V. I have a stroke.
That's fine. We might have a little bit of dyslexia. That's fine.
Yeah, this is kind of like traditional. This is a super like Indie-ish kind of film. It's a Russian film, which is kind of prescient now. But what's interesting is symbolically, I'd say it's very anti-present day Russia. But somehow, even though the film would have had to go through various censors and departments in the Russian government, it got made, it got funded, and also for a brief period it was aired on television, and then they cut it out because somebody finally started looking, this seems like a metaphor for something that we would not agree with. So it yeah, and in general it's just a kind of general summary. It follows a young architect, kind of the building engineer, who is still going to school, but he's called in just to do a quick checkup on this one building where an enormous crack has formed through this one person's house and its apartment, and it's essentially like a large like tenement like block kind of thing, again with a lot of low income people, a lot of people struggling. I mean, the first family we see where the crack actually splits is a guy essentially is an abusive asshole, he's beating his wife, and the split happens and steam rushes out and it, like, again, bursts on him. And again, it's this weird thing, like, where the house is, like, taking revenge. I don't know, yeah, I'm getting into interpretations already. But, yeah, and so this guy finds out, he looks outside, he looks at this crack forming on the outside of the building, and he realizes, oh, the whole building can collapse. Everybody in this building is at risk. And there's just this enormous crack going all the way down, like, into the foundations of the building. And so he's just trying to get all the, like, council members that were supposed to be taking care of this, like those police commissioners and the mayor and people that were responsible for, the housing division stuff and maintaining and the owner of the building, all this stuff. And he's just trying to save all these people that are in the building, and how things develop and, again, choices made. It's very, very, again, cynical and clearly commenting. I can't stress this enough. It's clearly commenting on the state of Russia,
folks.
Yeah,
this is not pro-Russia.
It's all about how the guy is called a fool because he's trying to do a good thing. Yeah. And he cares about other people outside of himself and his own. That's why
the system screws him. The system screws him over multiple times
because the system doesn't care and only cares about what they can get their own and get out. And so it is a heck of a film. It's, to be fair, there's a lot of good Russian cinema out there. But this is something that it's always stayed with me. It is probably one of my in my top 10 favorite foreign language films. Like, I can rewatch it. It's very sad. It's not soul crushingly depressing, but it is very sad.
Yes.
Things aren't. It didn't indicate any hope for the Russian situation, and as we've seen recently, it's like it probably was right on the money in terms of that. But it's really well worth a watch. Again, it's like looking at the production, like how this could have come to be, like how it got past everything. It's an impressive thing. So, it's, again, wonderful film. Actually, I don't know how. I'd have to look up if the prices have spiked since things have gone down
in Russia.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Because I don't know. I don't know if it was a foreign company or what. I got it for like $10 on Amazon, I think. So, but that was years ago. But yeah, that's the darkest film. Everything else is going to be a little bit lighter, or at least a little bit more kind of genre-y. So, but yeah, that's one I would recommend to anybody check out, especially just getting to see a modern, like, Russia, interpretation of what was going on at that time, what's probably going on to some degree now, but even worse so.
Yeah, a slice of life kind of
film. Absolutely. It feels like something out of like the 60s or 70s when we think about it, as far as like a grand metaphor for what things are going, and also, like you say, showing different slices, different people living in different sex, as like in part representing certain groups and individuals in the country. So yeah, like I said, well worth it. Good art film, but also don't let me say if you're not really into the whole indie scene or interpretation stuff, it's still a good like thriller story too. There's still a lot there that again about corruption and everything else is very interesting there. I think if you like Chernobyl a little bit, you might like this on some level because it is about like a pending disaster. So there's this just trying to run to try to help and save people and all the weird bureaucratic stuff. So anyway, wonderful film.
Yeah, nice. Good choice. That's a good choice, Ed. All right, well, my number 5 pick is Frank. This is a film that my brother does not like, but...
okay, go ahead.
Well, Frank is loosely based on the underground. He wasn't really. He was underground for a little bit, then he got popular in Britain. But Frank, is it Longbottom?
Or Sidebottom.
Sidebottom, yeah, and he wore like a paper mache head of this very like a generic male, and he was a comedian. But in this story, they take the overall look of the character, maybe some of his mental issues, and they recontextualize it on as kind of an analysis on these underground artists that are really talented, but they're really mentally off or not all there. And in this story, Domhnall Gleeson from the newest Star Wars films, he's Brendan Gleeson's son, Mad Eye Moody. But Domhnall Gleeson is in Star Wars. He was also in Ex Machina. But he plays this artist who wants to be a really popular musician, and so he's a piano player, and he comes across these wacky musicians that make really wacky music, and one of them is played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and of course the titular Frank is played by fine actor Michael Fassbender, and he's really great in this. For me, this is just a really great dark comedy. It really dives into the psychology of art making and the pitfalls of getting popular and focusing on one's ego. And in a way, that's what happened to the actual Frank character. I think his name was Chris Stevie in real life. But I really enjoy the film. It's really hilarious at times. There's a lot of great little dark comedic moments. The acting is really wonderful by Domhnall Gleeson, who in his past performances, I would say he was very okay. It depends on his the director and the script that he works with. But in this, he's really fantastic. And the music is wonderful, all performed by Michael Fassbender. He sings it. There's a lot of earworms in the soundtrack. And the ending is probably the more divisive elements of the film, and my brother will probably go a little bit into it, not too much. We don't want to spoil much, but it's sort of a arguably bittersweet sort of experience. But yeah, no, I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy the film a lot. So what's your take on it, Ad? How do you feel about that?
I don't hate the film. I do concede that it's a very good film. In spite of how I feel watching it, it's very well made. The performances are really solid. A lot of the comedy works. The songs are pretty memorable. I don't know. Maybe it's a too real thing for me. Gleason's character is essentially an unremarkable human being, and ever since the word has dreams of being a poet or writing music. And he just happens to get involved with like real artists and real like musicians that are like very weird, offbeat, and talented, but they're not like famous. They're just, again, they're real artists in the sense of like just creating for the sake of creating.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in, helps fund their projects, and wants to become a member of the band, but really it's about him wanting to become famous and again get into
take control.
Yeah, but anyway, as things progress, you learn more about the band, and especially the titular Frank, who's again, there's clearly something off because that mask he wears all the time just never comes off, it seems. So it's just
even in the shower.
Yeah, there's something up there, and we kind of get a little sense of that as time goes on, or at least explanations of that. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's because I sympathize greatly with Gleason's character. He wants to have something like worth something in his life. And he's got a job and stuff like that. And he kind of ignores it. He's got like a quote unquote nest egg that his uncle or grandfather or somebody he was left for him. And, it's like ignoring the other good parts of his life. But he just wants to be part of something bigger and get to experience that life of recognition and stuff. And so, how things turn out, it's, yeah, like you say, bittersweet. I feel bad. It's like I sympathize on a very deep level with that urge to Like, I just want to be loved. It's kind of it. I think we all do on some level, but
yeah. Well, I guess for me, 'cause I do feel sympathy for him as well, but I think the way he devolves his character over time and becomes more cynical is what kind of pushes me over the edge of, I don't feel as bad for him in that situation, because he has changed who he is out of that passion to be the best or be, popular. That's just my 2 cents.
And and that's the thing too, because it drives him to even take advantage of Frank, who's a pretty sensitive soul, as we find, and again, compared to everybody else, who pretty much all the other band members try to look after Frank, and because he's clearly very, very talented individual, but he's prone to being swayed relatively easily, depending on
he's very childish.
Yeah, and so it's just that's the big thing that makes the sympathy for on my part limited. Is he's taking advantage of somebody that's clearly got stuff going on.
Exactly.
But then again, there's some indications of shame for that. So, like I said, there's a lot of complicated stuff. Again, I don't hate it. I think it's just it's kind of heavy for me. It's not like a light fare. I don't feel the desire to watch it again.
Fair enough.
I can't say that it's a bad film in any way, though. It's a good one. It's a good one. But to each their own.
Alrighty, so what is your number 4 pick?
Okay, so going back to I just realized a couple comedies here. Okay, so my number 4 is Three Amigos.
I was thinking about putting this on there or not. Oh no, really?
Full disclosure, I guess we're a quarter Mexican. Does that matter at all? I don't know. It's not. It's not the most sensitive film ever in the history of mankind.
Ironically, though, I could still see it be adapted into a Broadway show if you cast Mexican actors in the roles.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I guess if they were it was like Spanish cinema, they'd have to change that from the Hollywood, because there weren't a lot of famous Mexican actors, because racism. And stuff.
Well,
they weren't given an opportunity.
To be fair, think of it as a site. You could make that as a commentary on maybe how if you did have Mexican actors as the lead, in Hollywood, since everybody's pretty much white, they would be. Anyway,
should we say the summary of the film?
Yeah, go for it. What's the summary of the film?
Okay, so early 1900s, early film. A famous series of films following 3 popular actors called the Three Amigos makes its way to Mexico, where a young woman sees it, and she thinks, because she sees it on film, that the film is real, that they're actually showing the Three Amigos, that these are real heroes. And so she sends a telegram to Hollywood to the actors in question, request, because I don't even know if she recognizes that they're actors, because again, she's from a small village, I guess, and all this other stuff. But she's that out. This is going to be a hard recommendation. I
can imagine if we had a bigger fan base, the racism comments would probably be skyrocketing.
This is going to be found sometime. But no, the actors happen to be going through. I ain't going to go over everything, but they're going to go through a period where they're willing to accept this woman's telegram, and I think she offers a reward in turn for them helping her out, and so they go expecting an acting job, and things ensue.
They quickly learn that they're not in Kansas anymore, essentially.
It's fueled or plagued, depending on how you look at it, by the music of Randy Newman.
Which is the best part.
Again, I think it's beautifully fueled and fertilized by the music
Yes.
Some people might think it's a devastating plague and locusts are eating at their brain.
This film would not be made today.
Yeah, especially the subtext, but it stars Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and
Martin Short.
Oh my goodness, I almost said Danny DeVito, man. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Danny DeVito.
Oh, I just started blasting.
Blue shadows on the trail.
God.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's if you can get past some of the subtext, it's filled with a lot of really good gags, and performances are fun, and the fellow who plays the bad guy, I forget his name.
El Guapo in the
El
film.
Guapo. He calls himself El Guapo. Dude, he's they're all having a good time. Seems he's like again, there's just a lot of nice little choices and little set pieces, and in some of the visual gags. It's well worth a watch. I enjoy it occasionally. It's not. I am not as immediately ready to defend it as Nacho Libre.
Oh yeah, you did two white savior films in which they're both played by white people, except one's trying to be a Mexican and the others are just white savior.
Yeah, they're literal white saviors. Yeah, and they pursue sexual relationships with the local Mexican young women. That's really cool.
God.
It's really cool film for cool guys and cool people.
Oh man.
But I'll just say it's like I say, there is just a doggone charm to it. This really speaks to me.
Yeah.
It could also be in part nostalgia based. I can't pretend that we used to watch it as kids, but I there's just something about some of those performers that really gets me, man. Again, especially for the bandits in question, they're just really solid. They're just lots of fun. Every scene they're in, they steal it, man.
Really great character actors. That's really great character actors.
Yes, that's very much it. Again, it's a very tongue-in-cheek kind of screwballish kind of Western deal.
Well, it's directed by what's his name? John. I want to say Lasseter. It's not John Lasseter. It's the father of the convicted sexual offender. What's his name?
Yeah, that cool guy. John Landis.
John Landis, arguably just as horrible of a person, John Landis. But
oh, really?
Well, going to the what was it? That's more or less due to the Twilight movie with the helicopter incident.
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently he pushed to film that even though there was major safety hazards, and he said, "No, we're just gonna do it."
Oh, the Twilight Zone movie.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Twilight
Okay.
Zone,
Okay. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
Well,
but we digress.
I should have looked these up beforehand. Now
It's fine.
I'm regretting everything.
It's fine.
Anyway,
Good.
I like the film. It's an interesting step back to the early 90s where white savior narratives were questioned. It's not good. That's not good. But there's a lot of positive qualities. There's a lot of positive qualities to the film. Enjoy them if you'd like. Hate them if you'd like. I'm too tired to care at this point.
If you can look past the datedness regarding the white savior complex, it's a harmless, stupid comedy. It's not trying to say that one race is better. Well, maybe it is kind of saying that. Well, it's fine. It's just a harmless comedy. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. How do we go to my next pick? I don't know if this will be better.
It's just about confusing. It's like, it's like early turn of the. It's playing off of this very simple thing where it's just like back in the day, people thought what they saw in the movies could be real. Everybody knows about the famous train scene, footage of the train coming at the towards the camera, freaked everybody in the theater out, and they ducked for cover. So it's just like it's in that period where, maybe people would think, "Oh, is this real?" Heck, even Nosferatu, even up until like again later in the 20th century, people were thinking like was Max Schreck actually a vampire? Or something? Did he actually kind of look like that? Like it's just such a good performance and everything. There's a weird mystique about cinema, and I'm adding all of this thematic weight to it when the film really doesn't do too deeply with that. But I think that's in part of what it's about. So there's some merit. Please don't hate me. I just like this film. I like singing the song, quoting it.
It's by the whitest.
They got me a sweater. They got me a sweater.
A sweater.
Yeah. It's beautiful. The dancing, the singing bush, and the invisible swordsman. And I won't say anything else. Watch it or don't. I'm not your parent.
If you're our age, you'll probably watch it because you're not an old fart. But unless you're like...
Actually, it might be the opposite, Ian. We may be horribly out of touch.
I just realized, Anyway, well, yeah. Well, on to my next pick. Well, from one racist film to another. I picked Rocket Man.
Oh.
Number 4.
Oh, man. I forgot about that one.
Oh, and we're not talking about the biography, folks. This is Rocket Man stars. I don't know his name.
We are so good at this, Ian.
Well, I usually do my research, but I did this last minute. It was my bad. It's
Harlan Williams.
Comedian Harlan Williams. This is his only big role apart from Robots, which he was a side actor. He was in the supporting cast. And Freddie Got Fingered.
I mean,
yes, the great Freddie Got Fingered.
We haven't seen that one, so it's not going to be on the list.
Although we laugh at every scene that we come across on the internet.
Not every. It's just it does make
we digress.
Anyway, back to Rocket Man.
Yeah. Quoting the film, he sings in French, Je suis le papillon. I'm probably horribly butchering this. Je suis le papillon sur la table, which translates to I'm a butterfly on the table. Anyway, so there's a scene. Okay. So Rocket Man is about Fred Randall, who he works at NASA. He does a lot of the calculations for landing sequences at NASA, and NASA's trying to land on Mars. And out of all of these candidates, he is there's 2 candidates that he's working with, but he ends up getting the chance to go to Mars, and he's able to. And hijinks ensue. It is one of the most bonkers, childish, but yet somehow endearing, and just if you shut your mind off, you might enjoy this film.
It's like a good version of a Happy Madison film.
Yeah, well, it's a
good version of a Happy Madison film.
That's saying something, isn't it?
It's like it's very screamy, Adam Sandler-y, but there's actually a lot of relatively thoughtful, quick like dialogue humor gags. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's got a fun cast too. So you got Harlan Williams, you got William Sadler from he played Death in Bill and Ted. You got Jeffrey DeMunn from films like The Green Mile, The Walking Dead. He's really great in that too, and Beau Bridges, brother of Jeff Bridges, etc. So again, like a really fun, colorful cast of characters, and Harlan Williams steals the show as a screaming man-child, and he brings a lot of weird idiosyncrasies, and He sings. He does puppetry. He makes faces.
He's a special fella.
He's a very special fella. It's a shame that he never got big. I don't know why.
I can't tell you why.
I couldn't tell you. But one of the standout bits is he's singing to the whole planet. He's singing "I Got the Whole World in My Hand," and he starts going. He starts making up different languages. Right? He tries to replicate certain languages like
Chinese. Now for the French. Now for the German. And what you're picturing in your head after we describe that's about what happens.
It's so beautiful. And you wonder why Disney doesn't have it on their Disney Plus service anymore. But that's saying something. They have, what's the slave animated cartoon?
Zippity Doodah.
Zippity Doodah on there.
Or whatever. Yes, I know. We have historical reasons for that. We'll put like a little note at the front of it. We don't have that excuse for Rocket Man. It was the 90s.
It was the late 90s.
Man. I'll say, we watched it relatively recently. I'd say probably the first couple thirds are the best. It kind of peters out for me at the end. But I will say, especially early on, there's a lot of actually good gags. It's not purely screaming for the sake of screaming. That stuff doesn't really, work for me a whole lot. There are only a few times where they lean a little too hard into that, I'd say.
That's fair.
Everything else, it's accompanied by something that's goofy funny.
It's also accompanied by a kick-ass theme song, which is the titular Rocket Man by Elton John.
Yes, Elton John made it specifically for the film. That's a lie. Yeah, come on.
Is that why I worded it like? Oh, I didn't mean like that. I mean like
no. I'm saying like just the way you're suggesting. Like yes, it's the theme song for the film, nominated for an Academy Award. Just like, they used a good song. They used a good title for a song. It's a goofy stinking movie, but I have a soft spot for it.
It's a childhood film. We did not grow up in a PC world when we were children. And we are not not racist people. We're not racist.
That's always a good position to be in when you have to say I'm not racist. With a peace sign.
Maybe I'll cut all this out in the edit.
I just didn't have a number 4.
I just didn't have a number.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's, I'll move in our runner-ups and I'll swap their places.
We're very white, man. We're quarter Mexican, but we're very, very white.
I know. It's fine. It'd be worse with my girlfriend because she's like pure white bread, so it'd probably be worse if these were some of her favorite films, but
she doesn't watch movies too much, so that's good.
She's very uncultured.
Yes, this is culture. Peak culture.
This is pure culture, man. When you see a grown man being bitten in the thumb by a fur monkey. Well, it's not a fur monkey. Good God.
The fur monkey.
Fur monkey. Oh, this fell apart. We should have researched and thought about this a bit more.
Okay. Anyway, your concluding thoughts on the film.
It's a masterpiece, and if you like dated 90s comedy and a grown man child who's not Will Ferrell, you'd probably like this film. Anyway, on to our number 3 spot.
Yeah,
what's your number 3?
Number 3 is As Above, So Below.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna promote this because it's not like a pure diamond, but it's a nice rough gem of a horror film, and I say that not because it's purposefully. I think it's a purposefully good film. It's one of those so bad it's good, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There are so many just weird decisions that come off as goofy. I mean, that's the thing about like certain horror films. Things, if you're trying to frame something in a horror film that this is going to be scary, this is going to get the kids, man, and it falls flat, it ends up being so doggone funny because you end up, it's the worst thing for a horror movie, but it's a blessing to me is when, again, they want to get a scream out of you and they get a laugh. And As Above, So Below is all about that. It's about this rich white English lady who goes around and is trying to find, I don't even remember the plot. Damn it, Ian, we didn't do any research for this, and now I'm going insane.
I mean, she's not Laura Croft, and she's looking for the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, that's right. Doggone it, man. The plot escapes me. I keep remembering the sequences and like the stupid so yeah, she's looking for the Philosopher's Stone and they travel to the catacombs in France. Now these are real things. If you guys, they're, and pretty infamous. So I think they've even had like nightclub stuff hosted in them. But there are real catacombs that were lined with like skulls, like people's actual skulls and bones. And so they venture down there and they discover stuff. And long story short, just to save you some time, it's a whole story. If you're familiar with Dante's Inferno, it is a modern retelling of Dante's Inferno with just clearly a lower budget. It's goofy and stupid, and I don't think they're in on the joke.
Yeah. There are so many questionable decisions, especially regarding, man, what is this podcast and race for some odd reason for this episode? So there's a lot of.
This is fair though. This is like, okay, I'll just say it. There are two actors of color in the film, right? Two characters, or people of color. And I think the suggestion of the film is that both of them are deadbeat dads. I think.
Oh, woof.
And it's the deadbeat dads that abandoned the mother of their child and their child. It's like they're the only characters in the film. And if it's not that they both are, then one of them is, and that person's guilt of being an abandoning baby daddy ends up getting the other black guy killed. It's like anyway, I'm not going to say further than that. It is just, there are certain things in there that are just so weird and obnoxious. The English gal in question is funny because she's just got a full on like privileged rich lady who just like starts taking down like museum artifact pieces and starts like putting acid and stuff on them.
Setting on fire.
She doesn't care. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man!
It's beautiful. It's very sweet. Then them trying to represent Dante's Inferno and the different levels of hell. It's kind of comical. It ends gloriously with certain demons getting smashed in the face.
In first person.
Yeah, it's that's the whole thing. It's shot like it's one of those first person like found footage horror films.
Yes.
I do love it dearly. It's not perfect. It's a little long. It starts slowing down a bit in the middle.
I think it's only an hour and a half, isn't it?
I know, it's very short too. It still feels kind of long. But there is a charm to it, man. I kid you not. You want to have a bad movie watch, give it a shot.
If you want a good drunken night out with friends and you want to watch a bad movie and just laugh at it to bits and make fun of every single thing in it, it's hilarious. If you're into that type of stuff, it's great.
Yeah, because it's a bit of a mess. But again, I gotta get that on Blu-ray. No, you just make me think I gotta get that on Blu-ray. I want to have that in my collection so bad.
Oh man!
Yeah,
But
no.
hey, you might if you are you might like this. I know I showed this to my friends and they actually liked it, like genuinely liked it. So who knows? Maybe you can look
But
past its faults
some point
and
we
see
gotta
the good film underneath.
At some point, we gotta talk about your friends. Yeah.
Well, I want them on the show. That'd be fun.
No.
But
I'm talking specifically about their decision to like this movie. Anyway, no, it's okay.
it's fine.
It's fine.
They prefer the Hobbit films to Interstellar. It's fine. I can't tell which one's worse, but I prefer Interstellar, even though the ending's. And I'm going off of different tirades again. It's fine.
If you haven't noticed, folks, we've been recording this late, so we're a little bit off right now.
All else fails, we can re-record it and redo our lists, and then go from there.
This is what I'm thankful that I don't have to edit any of this. Thank you. Ian.
Oh God.
Good luck. All right, Ian, your number 3 pick.
My number 3, well, mine's a bit more, I guess, more of a genuinely kind of a good film. JCVD with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think it's a very good character piece. It's a heightened film. So Jean-Claude Van Damme is, to those who don't know him, he was a big martial arts guy in the 90s. He's not French, was he? He is what's close to France?
Belgium.
He's Belgium. He's Belgian, and he was really big in the 90s for a little bit. He was mostly known for doing the splits and fighting and what have you.
While doing splits, yes.
Yeah, but then his stardom dwindled, as many 80s and 90s action stars do. And this film, it feels very autobiographical, or like very personal to Jean-Claude Van Damme, even though I don't think he wrote any of it, oddly enough. But it seems like a lot of it is him letting out a lot of his demons and all of his self-hatred. There's a really wonderful scene in which he just talks to the camera and he just breaks down, and it feels genuine. And and Jean-Claude Van Damme, as I should probably state before, he wasn't really known for being that good of acting. He was always consistently criticized for his acting chops, for the most part. And there are some rare cases in his earlier work, but where he did a good job. But for this, he is fantastic. I would say almost Oscar worthy. It's just a very natural performance, and it just kind of shows the how burnt out I imagine some actors would feel at a certain point in their lives. And for Jean-Claude, he's doing these different action films that are not really that great, that are tiring him out. He's dealing with fans that are very snooty and just have that sort of parasocial relationship to an extent, and like say, hey, you gotta be nice around me, kind of thing. And the main plot is that he's in his hometown, and he is in the post office, and there's a robbery that happens, and he is held hostage with other people, and he has to work with these hostage people to make sure that people are safe, but maybe get some money out of it in return. And it's just a really solid film. I've seen it about 2 to 3 times now. I gotta watch it again, but I think there's definitely a lot of depth regarding, especially his character, quote unquote character, his interest and what he wants, because a large part of it too is that in the story he's currently dealing with his child, who again, he's divorcing from his wife, and so they're dealing with the custody battle. And so that's like another thing to weigh upon his shoulders. And yeah, no, it's a good story, but it's really held up by Jean-Claude Van Damme's like this really masterful performance. He's really fantastic in it. Yeah, no, he clearly brings it, man. Both physically and again, like you say, performance-wise, emotionally. He's trying. And in some ways, I do feel like, okay, this is a little Oscar baity on some level, but I think the whole point is it's also making commentary on his own life, and again, taking him in a different space, which is nice, out of just a pure action film. Exactly. There's very little action in it. It's more of a drama, slight comedy elements here and there, but it's more of like this is good drama.
There's a pretty good what is it, like 2-3 minute long one shot or something.
Yeah, that's the big Oscar scene, if you will.
Oh well, that's the where his monologue. Oh. But there's another one, I think, because he's supposed to be filming a movie, right? And the whole thing is they're trying to get it in one shot.
Yeah, that's the very beginning of the film. Yeah, and he says to the.
That's the most action you're probably going to get, really, significantly anyway, because it's like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my pick for number 3.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
Number 2, oh boy, okay. We're just going off of winners here, Ian. I got Balls of Fury.
This is going to be very contrasting to my number 2 pick, but okay, go for it. Balls of Fury.
Ian, you like this film too, sir.
I do love it. It's pretty great.
It's pretty great. Balls of Fury follows Randy Daytona. I had that memorized. Why do I have that memorized?
Randy Daytona.
Randy Daytona, played by Dan Fogler, who is a former child championship ping pong player who has fallen so significantly from grace after losing in the Olympics. Essentially took a fall. Right? No. He was supposed to take... No.
I think he just legitimately loses because he loses his confidence in the battle.
He was supposed to win a game. His dad, played by the T-1000. Robert Patrick. Put a bunch of money on him winning, and he loses, and his dad is killed for it. And so he lives the rest of his life in horrible, pathetic disgrace, forever
in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, forever doing because he's so skilled at ping pong, doing ping pong like magic show equivalent stuff. Just forever clinging to Def Leppard, and when he was a child prodigy. Yes. And he is called in by George Lopez as I think FBI agent, to infiltrate an underground ping pong game where death is on the line, fortune is on the other, and
the evil villain is played by the great Christopher Walken. Yes,
Christopher Walken. Who is trying. He is trying, and that's why it's so good. He's trying really hard, man. He is not half-assing being the villain.
He says
dresses the way he does in this film.
He dresses like oh god, he kind of like a Fu Manchu meets Liberace, I suppose, is a good comparison.
It's so good. But it is a goofy ass 2000s comedy. The thing is, they got a really good cast. There are a lot of comedians in this film. And again, odd ones to see, like Terry Crews and what's her face, who hosted the video game E3 for a long time.
Maggie Q?
No, Maggie Q is his love interest. What's
her name?
Aisha Tyler? I think it's Aisha Tyler.
Oh, right, from Whose Line, and then she was Mother Nature in the Santa Claus movies.
Yeah, Dieter Bader is in there, if you know him as the voice.
He plays a sex slave.
Don't spoil things. And of course, again, this film is really underpinned by 2 great supporting performances. One by Christopher Walken, again, steals every scene he's in, but also James Hong, who is forever, partly because he was in Big Trouble in Little China, was forever in my favorite supporting actors category. Yes. He always tries, and he always brings it, and he's a lot of fun in this, playing the blind master character who's going to teach Randy, get him back on top. It is such a goofy ass stinking film, but well worth your time. A little less controversial. I say a little maybe not. People might not appreciate the
There's
Asian
some gay jokes that maybe don't
That's true.
land.
That's true. And, questions about the whole appropriation of Asian culture, but the thing is, especially for Christopher Walken, he's supposed to be like a douche. And so maybe that's the part of the point.
Oh, man.
And James Hong makes fun of him for it anyway and kind of calls him out on it. So I don't know. But it's a magical film. And it's, again, that one, that's one of those films I can say like you can sit through it and get through it pretty comfortably. I never felt like it's starting to lull a little bit. This is like extended downtime now. The thing goes. It's relatively short. I think that's why.
Yeah, it's only an hour and 30.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this one again, I do not feel an hour 30. You're just meeting the time limit. But
and they put stinking bloopers at the end. So they probably had to pad out the time.
Oh, that's sad. But everything up to that, though, it is a lot of fun. Oh, and then what's that actor's name from Reno 911 who plays one of the big villains?
Yeah. What's his name? He's in everything, like comedy wise.
Everything comedy.
Oh yeah, no, Thomas Lennon.
Oh, Jim Rash is in this. David Proval. Masioka. Oh yeah, Hero from Heroes.
Yes, I remember seeing him. I forgot that Jim Rash was in it.
It's just filled with man. Oh, and he had Patton Oswalt too. Never, yes, no spoiler. Anyway, okay, I won't go any further. Yeah, some of those are gags, surprises. Yeah, there's a lot in there. Again, this was somebody's baby. There's clearly favors called in or something. No, it's it's very fun movie. Give it a shot. Turn your brain off a little bit. But it's an hour and a half. It goes by pretty quick, and I think a lot of people will at least laugh at like one or two of the gags at the very least.
Yeah. And if not Christopher Walken, he steals the show.
Yes.
Okie dokie, artichoke. Let's get this on the road.
This is another film where we quote. Okay.
There's so many great lines. Yeah. I won't buy anywhere. That will show.
You smile. It's so
as he wears like these really ridiculous
giant glasses for no reason, and he's never seen in them again. It's just for the scene. It's like, okay, they're going for it, man. They're trying. Give it a shot.
God.
Give it a shot.
Yes, it's really good. All right, so a completely different tone, 180. My number 2 pick is The Road. This is with Viggo Mortensen and is it Jody Smith McGee? Is that his name? I think that's his name. Cody Smith McPhee. Sorry, Cody Smith McPhee. This is probably one of the most depressing films you could watch. I would say it's about the end of the world, like post-apocalypse.
Yeah, we should say it's based off of Cormac McCarthy's novel.
Yeah, Cormac McCarthy wrote No Country for Old Men
as well,
and in this story, it's more or less that people are inevitably gonna die. It's just the entire world is a ashy, cold, polluted cesspool. There are no trees, and what's left of trees are the only thing that's like standing up. They're all burnt to death.
There is an unrevealed cataclysmic event that happens. We don't know. We're never told if it's nuclear war or is it like the apocalypse, like Armageddon, like God coming back and stuff. We are never told any of that, but ash pollutes the skies, blocks out the sun for the most part, and
sulfur's in the water.
Yeah,
all stuff.
All again, like you were saying, like all plant life, trees, vegetables, fruits, everything. All of it's just dying, and so with that in mind, all the animals die, all the bugs die, and so humanity is on the tail end of a timer, essentially.
Exactly, and the main story focuses on Viggo Mortensen and his son, played by Cody Smith McGee. I probably let's say Cody, and their plan is to move from middle of the country to the coast, essentially, to find water that way. And as they do, they come across a horde of surviving, messed up people, a lot of horrific sights, cannibalism, and just people desperate to find food. It's just a really solid film. There's a really great cast. Again, Viggo Mortensen and Cody, and then Charlize Theron is in it for a small role as the mother.
Guy Pearce, Robert Duvall, Michael Kenneth Williams. If you guys,
the late,
passed away.
Yeah, he does a really good job in this with the small role he's a part of. But yeah, it's. Again, most of my picks, apart from the stupid comedies, are these character pieces, and this is another really great character piece. And the acting and the chemistry between the two leads is really phenomenal, and it's just this really contemplative and emotionally driven film that shows how far these people in this situation would go to survive. And I find it just interesting. I especially showing something this dour, this literally hopeless. Like, say what you will about Mad Max, but at least you can have there are parts to the world that have water and food, and you can drive around, possibly, or even Terminator, or even Terminator to an extent. You have a bit more freedom.
You actually have colonies of people,
but no, essentially, having a kid in the world of the film is essentially a death sentence. It's a waste of energy and food, and so you don't want any child to kind of grow up in this type of environment.
Like why would you bring it's people have this, I don't this discussion even nowadays in various cases of war and stuff. Should I bring a kid out into this world as it is right now? That is like triply, multiply that by 3. The discussion in this, because like Ian saying, there isn't, nothing's going to restore itself and get better, at least not in your lifetime and humanity's existence.
Exactly.
And like you say, a lot of people, like, they go into a bit more in the books, like the fate of children and stuff. It's not good. It's really not good.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're saying.
But yeah, no, if you're interested, it is a film that you have to prepare for, unless you're into this downers, and you can handle those fine. But I would say for most people, it is a film that you have to kind of prepare for, and just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna be depressed by the end of this to an extent. Yeah. But I can, if you're cool with that for like one evening or what have you, then I suggest really watching it. It's a really good film, and not really talked about much. And I feel like part of it might have some flag due to it kind of originating the whole purely gray and ashy tone that post-apocalyptic films did after that, unfortunately. Having that kind of that nasty, earthy tone to it.
Yeah.
Maybe that has sort of a stigma against it.
That could be it. It was also a relatively lower budgeted post-apocalyptic film. And there have been quite a few of those we've seen. That kind of, maybe as far as the market's concerned, they kind of blend together.
Book of Eli is the first one that comes to mind of like having that pure aesthetic, essentially that type of aesthetic.
But the thing is, again, all this was in the book, and it. This cast has a lot of famous people in it, but also the cast is very small.
Exactly.
Because really, like in the book, 80% of the film is just the father and son interacting, and trying to survive. And again, that's just like the book. The book is just filled with moments of him trying to construct things, or guys just got an aptitude for survival, and we are told the things that he makes, the things that he organizes in order to succeed there. And I will say, it is a heavy film overall, for the state of the world, there isn't a lot of hope. I will say you get a little glimmer at the end. So because there is something there that's, again, like we talk about bittersweet endings, there is something there that is comforting in a sense. Because again, there is no hope in the road universe for humanity's continued existence. But there is hope in a good spirit, because that's the whole thing. It's the dad choosing to keep his son alive and ensure his son's going to make it, in spite of a world that, like Ian was saying, would say, no, don't do that. Look after yourself as an adult. It's like a refusal to become animalistic and become malicious and, because again, like other things like cannibalism is a big part of this world and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like the discussions about the complete degradation of humanity and choosing to try to be above that or try to have some kind of goodness and light left, in spite of just an overwhelming sense of darkness. And it is a heavy film. But highly recommended, especially if you're a fan of post-apocalypse stories and kind of sci-fi stuff. And doubly so if you like the stinking survival stories too. And it's very contemplative and thoughtful, and even though it's not a very long film, again, it's so atmospheric, and you do get lost in the kind of the weight of the world in that. And it's a very, very interesting experience. Well, good choice there, man.
Oh, thank you. Alrighty, brother. Okay, here it is. Your number one. What is your number one pick?
My number one is Lake Mungo. Ian actually hasn't seen this one. We haven't watched it together. Another film.
Heard about it.
Yeah, it was recommended. If you guys ever watched Half in the Bag on Red Letter Media, great channel. This was mentioned in passing. So it's a fake documentary following this Australian family after their daughter has been found having drowned in the lake. And as time goes on, and the family's investigating, the police are investigating, certain things come to light, mysteries are uncovered, and more importantly, strange spiritual happenings start going on. And again, it's all done in a fake documentary style, but it's leaning more into the a real documentary, not found footage. So with interviews with the family later on, and it's like if somebody got all this footage and stuff and pictures and all these things and put them together and was trying to construct a narrative based off of what was found as the investigation went on, and how constructed their interviews based off of organizing all the interviews into the cohesive story. That's what it feels like, and it's a really good air of authenticity there. And again, there are some weird elements to it. There are some kind of creepy and settling, quite a few creepy and settling moments. But again, how it's done feels very real. I mean, there are a lot of the disturbing moments come from just still images. You're just looking at a photograph, and there's something going on in the photograph that's creepy or weird. It's very atmospheric for very low budget Australian horror film, and it's good. Again, I love how the mystery kind of unravels and things come together, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there are definitely a lot of twists and turns there, and by the end it's a heck of a thing. Special film if you can get your hands on it. I could only get a DVD copy. That's all they have available, but it is a very unique little horror gem, I'd say. And again, I love I wish more horror films would do the fake documentary thing. Again, this one does it just so well. It feels, very real. And we got to watch it at some point. I know I haven't shown you that one.
Okay. Well, you can get on Blu-ray for $25 on Amazon right now.
Okay. Well, I feel betrayed and ashamed.
Let me look. Is it region A? Let me see.
That's the other thing. Yeah. This was an Australian film, so.
It looks like it might be.
Okay, so ignore everything I said. Just get it on Blu-ray. Watch it.
Well, it might be. It might be in limited supply though, so be careful.
Well, it's $25. So make of that as you will.
This sounds like a good companion piece to Blair Witch, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, Blair Witch. Again, very different. The whole found footage is interesting. I feel at this point it's kind of played out. It was again, it just added a little bit extra spice to see something take it and okay, this is a formalized documentary. Right. I know, like, again, other movies tried it later on, or other properties tried something like that later on. American Horror Story had their season 6. First half of the season is in that style of fake documentary on what this horror event had happened. That's cool, and it's actually my favorite part of season 6. There's a novelty to it, but again, I don't know, it just kind of tricks my brain a little bit because the presentation feels like such a real documentary, and then it starts introducing these strange elements, like maybe. Because they're showing, it's not just like they're doing the reenactments on like Discovery Channel or something like that to try to underline it. No, it's just showing like pictures and raw video footage, and it's like, okay, this is unsettling. The only other film I could think that tried it was that stupid, was it Fourth Dimension?
The Fourth Kind.
The Fourth Kind, whatever. Yeah, Fourth Kind. But that one again, weird decisions. They wouldn't let them do like a strictly like documentary format, so they did this weird in between bastardization kind of thing.
Well, it's all fake, but they did the documentary mock-up.
Well, the point was it was supposed to be it was like a fake documentary of things that actually happened. But again, it's just like they didn't lean hard into the fake documentary part, which I think would have been more interesting than bringing in what's your face. Speaking of Fifth Element,
Djokovic.
But give it a watch. Very interesting. Again, I can't say for everybody's gonna like it. Again, slower paced, like a documentary. But if you're kind of interested in kind of weird dips into horror thriller kind of stuff, this is a really good way to go. I don't think you can go wrong with this one.
Yeah, no, we gotta watch it. That sounds really interesting. I have to watch that.
Yeah.
Alright, so my number 1 is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I was thinking about this one.
It's probably one of my favorite top 5. Probably switches on and off, but it is single-handedly one of the more underrated like Coen Brothers films. Most of their films are really great, but this one is just nobody seemed to like. I don't really understand really much why.
It might have developed a little bit of a cult following, like a little bit.
I hope.
You don't hear about it a lot, though.
No, not at all. I mean, again, it revolutionized. I think this was the first film to use like digital recoloring, because they recolored all of the greenery to be kind of this yellowish bronze color, so it gives it kind of an old-timey sepia tone kind of feel to it. Because the film takes place in like the 20s, right?
Yeah. This is
20s. In the South, and it's loosely based off of the Odyssey. And so there's these 3 Southern guys. One played by George Clooney. The other played oh my God, what's his name? Oh, Tim Blake Nelson. And the third John Turturro. And they're going after this treasure because George Clooney said that he buried treasure somewhere, and that's more or less the initial plot beginning. And they get out of jail, and they go back on their mission to find this treasure, and a lot of hijinks ensue. The it just feels very folky. The entire film is a folk tune. The music is masterfully beautiful. If anything, the soundtrack lasted far longer and did far better than the film.
It resurrected like bluegrass, at least into the popular, consciousness.
Oh yeah, and did for our family too. So again, we listen to that soundtrack all the time. And but no, like the writing's still on point. There's so many great one-liners that I always catch myself saying.
It's Coen Brothers, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's really and of course an entire cast of character actors that are wonderful, and they just bring these lovely dimensions of color to the film. And again, it's just one of those baffling things. I know, like Roger Ebert and Richard Roeper did not care for it, and it just didn't do well. It's a really wonderful, fun, adventurous, and smart romp that it has a very infectious atmosphere and just character to it. And it's like Nacho Libre. It is one of those films that our family, have watched on many gatherings together, because it's just one of those films that's consistently rewatchable and it never gets tiring. The acting is wonderful, the writing is wonderful, the music is wonderful. It's like a near perfect film that just got completely shat on for who knows why. And yeah.
Oh, were you gonna say, like the quotes we still use today?
Oh, like we're in a tight spot.
Yes,
we're in a tight spot. RUNNOFT.
You fellas are dumber than a bag of hammers.
Oh man. Oh jeez.
Do not seek the treasure.
The treasure. You just turned into a hornet toad. Oh man.
It's a special kind of film.
But no, it's got this wonderful personality to it, and still probably my top 5. Everything's switching my top 5, but yeah, it's a masterful film.
Yeah, again, it's hard to go wrong with Coen Brothers, and it's also one of the shortest of the films. Just looked it up. I didn't realize it was only an hour 47, because it does fly by. Again, it's another film that just goes. But yeah, there is something special there, and certainly one of the best Coen Brothers comedies. It's just like, primarily a comedy. There's some dramatic elements, of course, but again, this one, the jokes and come pretty frequently. It's just with that sheen of it's still like a professionally done Coen Brothers, film. It's not trying to go for yuck all the time kind of thing, hamming it up. Everybody feels very real and grounded, and that's why you end up laughing. And terms of character, they feel very real. In terms of the story and the world, that is heightened. There's this again, it feels weird. It does feel like you're transported. Like I like to say, transported to a different time, place, and but again, because Coen Brothers are just so damn good. The characters are just written so well, and the comedy comes from the characters being themselves. Which is the fun part of that for me. Yeah,
some of the best scenes are just them talking to each other about random things, and it's just the quirky quippiness of each character and how they work off each other. It's just really wonderful.
Yeah, the looks they give one another, just the weird moments of nonchalance or attempted aggression that fails miserably. It's again another very worthy watch, brother. Always love watching that one.
Oh yeah, same here. Well, I think that's it. We don't really have any questions for this episode, but if you'd be interested to leave a question for our next episode, just comment down in this video or email my personal email, and we'd get back to you and add that to our answer those in our next episode. So If you like our content and want to support the show, then please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really do appreciate the support either way. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Take care.